What's up, Orange County? Each and every one of you that carry an American flag and a Trump flag, we have a voice, so let's keep this voice going. I just want to give a little bit of history of myself. Born and raised in Huntington Beach. From birth to about 7, life was normal. My father had to get his appendix out. He went to the hospital. They put him on morphine. He got out of hospital from doing morphine, and he still had pain. His brother turned him on to heroin, and my mother and father went on a road of using heroin. And I was 7 years old at that time. We moved to Santa Ana. I moved from motel to motel, people's garages. I ended up at my grandma's house with my father. One of my friends that I hung out a gang at that time called F Troop, he got shot and killed in front of me. I told my mother about it, and she didn't believe me. As we were driving by, he was getting carried away in a body bag. And she said, "This isn't for my son." She told my father, "Either you get sober, or I'm taking your son away, our son away." And 1 week later, my mom wakes me up early in the morning and says, "Tito, get your stuff together, we're going." And I left my mother, took me away from my father, got remarried, took me back to Huntington Beach. I got a second chance at life. And I was very thankful for my mother doing that. Very, very thankful. And as I've grown up, I've always been a huge fan of professional wrestling. Guys like Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage. I just grown up watching these guys, but Hulk Hogan was the guy who I really took a liking to, because he always said, "Say your prayers and take your vitamins, brother." That's the type of stuff as a kid that I was like, this is the American dream right here. This American dream should be alive. I got into amateur wrestling at Huntington High School as a freshman. I walked into the wrestling room, and I asked the coach, I said, "Where's the ring at?" He laughed at me. He's like, No. This is a totally different type of wrestling. This is amateur wrestling. This is Olympic wrestling. I go, "But I get to throw a guy on his head?" "Yeah." He goes, "Actually, you'll get points for it." I go, "Well, I'm all in." That was my freshman year. 1998, I started varsity my first year with no wrestling experience at all besides watching on television. And it was through hard work and determination that I was able to do it by starting my freshman year and being a 4-year letterman. I won CIF, placed in the state. I turned 18 years old, and I thought I'd be a big man on campus. I thought, you know what, I'm 18, I can take care of myself, and I'm gonna go out in the world and I'm gonna conquer the world. I had a dream and I thought I can do it. Come to realize that this world is really hard to live in. This world is really, really hard to make sure your family's good, to make sure yourself is good, and I fell into addiction myself. With one of my friends who turned me on to speed methamphetamine. I didn't understand it at the time, but I was just trying to work. I worked for Allied Moving Service. I was doing 14-hour shifts, 5 days a week, and partying on the weekends. This lasted for about a year. I was at Rhino Room in Huntington Beach, which is a nightclub, and one of the coaches there, actually one of the coaches from Golden West College, seen me. He's like, "Hey, Tito, you doing all right?" "Well, yeah, I'm fine." He goes, "You don't look so good." I go, "What do you mean?" I go, "I'm doing fine." And not realizing what I was in. He goes, "You ever thought about coming back and wrestling?" I go, "Yeah, coach, I would love to, but I'm on my own. I don't have anyone to take care of me. I'm just making ends meet." He's like, "You're half Mexican, right?" I go, "Yes, I am." He goes, "Well, we can get you financial aid." I said, "That'd be great." So I thought about that night, and I partied that night with my friends. I stayed up until about 1 the next day in the afternoon, and I had to go to bed. Brushing my teeth, I looked in the mirror, and I didn't recognize myself. I was 185 pounds, which I am, with the same size I am, which I am 240 right now.
Wow.
I was sucked up, black circles under my eyes, pimples all over my face, and it scared me, and I broke down, and I started crying because I was turning into my father. I had a real reality check in my life, and it was, which way do I go, the right way or the left way? I woke up that morning on Monday morning at 8 a.m., called my work and said, "I'm not gonna be able to come in today." They said, "What do you mean you can't come in?" I go, "I wanna find out about this school. I wanna go back to school and wrestle." They're like, "Well, if you don't come in, you're fired." And the first time in my life, I quit. I said, "You know what, I quit." And I remember walking to Golden West Junior College in Huntington Beach, and I walked into Coach Raul's office, and I said, "Coach, I'm here." And he had a big smile on his face. He said, "You made the first step." I got financial aid. They helped me out. They paid for my school. They paid for my books. And it was just for me to show up and to get educated. I really wanted to make a change in my life, and I want to change to the positive. I won the state championship at Golden West my first year, and then I got introduced to this sport called mixed martial arts. So back in the day, it was just UFC. I used to train with a guy by the name of Tank Abbott, and I said, "You know what, I want to give this a try. I want to try to fight." I was a freshman at the time in junior college, and I fought UFC 13, May 30th, 1997 was my first fight, and I fought for free. because I was on scholarship. And I didn't want to lose my scholarship. I wanted to make sure that I kept my scholarship for my education, because if I got injured, I want to make sure I have my education to fall back on to support myself. And I fought in Augusta, Georgia. I won my first fight in 22 seconds. I was in the finals, and I fought against another guy who's been fighting for over 10 years. I was beating him, and then they separated us. And they started again. He caught me in a choke. I had to tap, but I learned from that. A year and a half later, I ended up becoming the world champion. And through hard work and dedication and just doing the right thing, I was able to do that. I defended my world title 5 consecutive times. I was the longest reigning light heavyweight champion until John Jones beat my record, but that's fine. He's a great champion himself. It's been 23 years now since I've been competing. I have one more fight left, and I'll be the first city council member of Huntington Beach to be a professional fighter and a city council member at the same time. On June 6th in Huntington Beach, actually I'll take it just a week before that, May 29th in Huntington Beach, they came down and did the protesting downtown HB. Now, you gotta understand, I'm born and raised in Huntington. I die hard to make myself, this is my life. I'm gonna make sure my kids, I have 3 boys, I have 20 11-year-olds, and I have an 18-year-old. I wanna make sure that they understand the American dream is still alive. Because Obama said that the American dream is no longer alive. Well, it's kind of funny because in 1989, he said the American dream is Donald Trump. Well, let's think about that for a second. American dream's not alive, but Donald Trump's the American dream? Well, that's the dream as a kid that I always wanted to do. I remember watching Hulk Hogan, he was the American dream. Now, when I got an opportunity to work for Donald Trump in 2008, I see what type of father he was, I see what type of businessman he was, and I got to see what type of man he was. And he was honest. He spent his time with me, every question I asked, any advice I could get from him. I'm telling you, he's a billionaire, and I was a kid who just made $1 million. I was like, wow, how do I keep my $1 million, Mr. Trump? And he's like, well, you got to have 5 sources of income coming in at all times. And until this COVID pandemic came about, I was up to almost 5. I was in the used car business, had a management company, I have a clothing company, and I was doing a promotion. So, I mean, I almost had the 5th, but this COVID pandemic came about and everything's got shut down. I just have my clothing company, my management company, and my brand. On June 6th, it was 2 days before that, I got a message that's saying from the BLM and the Antifa guys that they didn't do their job right, and they're gonna come back and burn this town down, which was Huntington Beach. Not on my watch. I called about 30 of my friends that are local HB residents. I called 4 of my special force friends from Camp Pendleton, and we stood down in Huntington. 2 nights before that, before June 6th, one of my friends who actually Los Angeles Sheriff Department, he came to my house, gave me a flak jacket, which is a bulletproof jacket, and I made shirts that said HB Strong on them. And I made sure all 30 of my friends just had those shirts. I talked to my friend Jason Melshaw, and I told him that only us will have these shirts, and we're gonna hear them protected, because they could not stop Antifa or Black Lives Matter guys walking downtown and walking through downtown to try to destroy it. But us as citizens were allowed to step up and stand our ground. Well, that day we stood our ground. They weren't walking past us, because there was opportunities they tried to do it, but you know what? I diffused a lot of the situations. People see me as a fighter. You know what? I am a fighter. I don't like to be vicious towards another person, but you come try to destroy my land? Ain't happening on my watch. No possible way. I thought about it that day. I was like, I stood there for 11 hours. And let me tell you, once again, I'm a huge fan of professional wrestling. The Rock was 3 days before that. He asked the question to the President, where are you? Dwayne Johnson said that. And I took to heart, like, where he is. He's out trying to help our country while people on the left attack him. Vicious over and over again. For you to come out on social media with the platform you have to be like that, I understand you sold out. That's fine. It is what it is. And I stood there for 10 hours on my feet. No restroom break, no food break, I got actually thank God for the business down there. They gave me water. But I stood there and I see what the officers did. I'm pro-police 1,000%. They will not defund the police in Huntington Beach. I'll make sure of this. I mean, I'm starting, and once again, I am not a politician. I am not a career politician, but I'm an American of this country that we support 1,000%. I want to make sure that I'm able to spread the word, as I watched Donald Trump has done. He's gave me the courage to step up, and I come to realize I couldn't be an officer. I come to realize that my hands would literally be handcuffed. So I had to step back and see what I want to do. One of my friends said, Tito, you can be mayor of Huntington Beach. I was like, Mayor Ortiz, that sounds really good. But I come to realize that you got to be in city council to be appointed for mayor first. So, you know what, I'll do my groundwork. I'll do my grassroots I'll work and just make sure I do the right thing for my community. That is what's important to me. I'm not in for special interests. I have my money. No one's gonna buy me out. Our president, no one could buy him out. And all of a sudden, his voice is speaking volume. And I will speak volume in my city also, because I'm gonna stand strong for HB. I'm number 8 on the ballot if any of my HB members are here. Thank you, I appreciate it. And each one of our citizens of our beautiful country, America, thank you guys for being here today. I'm Tito Ortiz, and I'm gonna make Huntington Beach safe again. I guarantee it. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you very much.
Fuck yeah. That was awesome. Got my vote. That was amazing.
Oh yeah, one last thing. I keep talking about the American dream. I'm proof the American dream is still alive.
Yeah.
Love it. Give it up for Tito Ortiz, guys.
Yeah.
So I rolled out to a bunch of the HB stuff, the Reopen California.